نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Ayat on paying zakat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واركعوا مع الراكعين. The ayat means establish salat and pay zakat and bow your heads with those who bow in worship. From Surah Al-Baqarah. Don't remember. There's many ayat which are comparable. وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. So that comes at many places in the Quran. So it's a very important point that is something that is emphasized, that we should give salat, we should pray salat and give zakat. Allah didn't just mention it once, He mentions it many times. बहुत ज़्यादा बताते रहते हैं. What does emphasize mean? It means remind you with a lot of force. Like Khadija, don't bug Ammi. I told you, don't bug Ammi. अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है पर आपको पता है अच्छा so again the ayat was up وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واركعوا مع الراكعين. Establish salat and pay zakat and bow your heads with those who bow in worship. Note, commenting on this verse, Mulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahmatullah alayhi writes, in Islam the devotional practices fall under two broad divisions, the physical and the spiritual. The physical may be subdivided into two sections, those performed with the body alone and those involving expenditure of money. In this way, the amal fall into three broad categories. The ayat, so there were physical, spiritual, and from the physical, it's those done with the body and those done with the money. The ayat mentions all the three categories of amal, referring to one act of each kind. Salat is a physical act of devotion. Zakat means giving away money to the poor. And khushu' is an inner spiritual quality. The phrase ma'ar raki'in, meaning with those who are engaged in practicing humility, suggests very aptly that inward humility is better attained through association with the humble-minded. According to the above explanation, the Arabic word ruku' means a devotional humility, and there are many other subtle points about the ayah. For example, salat is the most important devotional practice for a Muslim. That is why it has been mentioned foremost. Secondly, zakat comes next to salat in order of importance. Third, payment of zakat is an expression of gratitude for the favors of Allah Ta'ala as detailed earlier. By inference, we can conclude that all physical acts of devotion have higher value than spending money as a religious practice. Fifthly, the outward or formal aspect of a religious practice has higher value than the inward aspect associated with it, as humility, which is an inner aspect of salat, has been mentioned after salat and zakat, which have physical form. Sixthly, associating with those who practice humility in their worship of Allah Ta'ala is highly important for cultivating this quality in oneself. For the same reason, some divines stress the need to establish khankas where this quality can be easily acquired in their company. Yusuf? Jai, baithiye. Seventhly, the collective form of address in the ayah, observe salat. So it's not just told in the singular form, it's told in the plural. The plural, the collective form, observe salat, all of you, indicates that the instructions are meant for all the members of the community as general practices, rather for those of the chosen few. So it's not just the pious people who have to pray salat and give zakat and pray with those who are praying and so on. Rather, it is general that every Muslim is supposed to do it. Every Muslim is supposed to do it. So if we ponder further, we can infer, okay. Sorry. Commenting on this ayah, Shah Abdul Aziz rahmatullah alayhi writes in his Tafsir al-Aziz, briefly, the ayah means perform salat along with those who perform it. That is, perform it in a congregation. The command stresses the need to practice salat with jama'at in congregation. Congregational salat is a distinguishing feature of Islam, while other religions do not enjoin congregational prayers. The ayat refers to ruku' in particular, because the preceding ayat were revealed concerning the Jews, and ruku' or bowing is not part of their form of worship. Thus the ayat implies observe salat like the Muslims, as has been explained in the book of Virtues of Salat. The salat is best performed with jama'at, so much so that the theologians, the ulama, regard a fard salat performed without jama'at to be a defective performance. Another ayat concerning zakat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ورحمتي وسعت كل شيء فسأكتبها للذين يتقون ويؤتون الزكاة والذين هم بآياتنا يؤمنون. So ayat meaning, and my mercy embraces all things. Therefore I shall ordain it for those in particular who fear Allah and pay zakat, and those who believe our revelations. Note, Hassan radiallahu anhu and Qatada are reported to have said that in this world, Allah's mercy descends upon everybody, good or bad. But in the Akhirah, Allah's blessings will be showered only upon the righteous people who fear Allah. Once a desert nomad came to Masjid al-Nabawi and after performing salat prayed thus, O Allah, have mercy on me and on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and let no one else share. Let no one else share thy mercy with us. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam heard him praying and said, you have restricted the extent of your Lord's mercy, which is infinite. Allah Ta'ala divided His mercy into 100 portions, of which He sent down one portion and distributed it in the world. By it all created beings, jinn, men, and animals show kindness to one another, to their children, to their kinsmen and others, while Allah Ta'ala has kept back 99 portions of His mercy. Another version has, Allah Ta'ala has 100 parts of mercy, of which He sent down one part to the world. By it the created beings are kind to one another, and the animals show mercy to their young ones, and He has kept back 99 parts for use on the Day of Judgment. There are quite a few more ahadith corroborating this subject. Indeed, we should rejoice to know that Allah's mercy is so vast in extent. The loving care of a mother who feels restless when she finds her child in the slightest trouble, a father's deep affection for his children upsets him when he finds them in trouble. The mutual love of blood relations, the conjugal love between man and wife, the various human sympathies and feelings of kindness for one another, which make it unbearable for one to see others in pain. All these are manifestation of Allah's mercy, asserting itself through the hearts of living beings. And all those affections, loves, and sympathies put together make but 100th portion of Allah's infinite mercy, of which He has kept back the remaining 99 portions with Himself. What a shame to disobey the commandments of the Lord, who is infinitely merciful, so full of compassion for His men. Imagine a mother who treats her son most affectionately, and think how great would be her sorrow if the son disobeyed her. Imagine a mother who treats her son most affectionately, and think how great would be her sorrow if the son disobeyed her. Then how shocking would be the behavior of a person who neglects the commands of Allah Ta'ala in spite of the fact that His compassion and mercy to men is much vaster, to which a mother's affection for her children stands no comparison. These are a couple of the ayat concerning the payment of zakat, and inshallah we will continue with this over the days. So inshallah we should, Allah give us the reality of what a great commandment this is and how merciful Allah is. And just the other day we were mentioning that if all the rich people, the people who are legitimately rich, who Allah has, who Sharia has recognized as rich, if they were to give zakat, then a good portion of the poverty in the Muslim world amongst the Muslims would go away if we actually gave zakat. Allah has made it fard, and He has made it much less than anything that it's very comfortable to pay if we're actually interested in paying. Person pays 15% taxes here in Quebec. So he pays effectively almost 7 times as much while paying his GST TVQ. It's a bit less, or maybe 6-ish times, whatever the case is. But for zakat, we're stressing, we're looking for loopholes. It's not right. We should have trust in the mercy of Allah, and that Allah wants our success, and that our success is in Deen. Our success is guaranteed in Deen. There's no if and or buts about it. Success is in Deen, and giving this little amount of zakat will purify our wealth. Zakat literally means to purify. Just as gold is purified, how do you purify gold? You heat it and you heat it and you heat it to a point that it starts melting. Now, any impurities which are in this gold, they get burnt away. They literally get burnt away. That's what zakka yuzakki tazkiyatan wa zakatan means. It means to burn away the impurities. So this is what zakat does. So there will be a bit of a burn, 2.5% of a burn to be exact, but it will keep pure whatever remains. And for us, for the Muslims, having barakah and having pure wealth is more important than having abundant wealth. Because abundant wealth will go if there's no barakah in it. But a small amount of wealth will keep on going so long as there's barakah in it. So may Allah give us tawfiq to pay our zakat. If we do not know how to pay our zakat, how to calculate our zakat, we should find out, we should ask. Inshallah, we'll be having a program shortly, inshallah, about how to calculate our zakat, who has to give zakat, and so on. But we should be looking, we should be finding out for ourselves what do we have to give, and we should try to discharge it, save ourselves, and rather make sure that we gain for the akhirah. We protect our money in this world, and we gain our earnings in the akhirah. May Allah give me first and all of us the tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik.